MFR deals a variety of dedicated products. However, we have received some feedbacks that they do not need that many functions, that they want the system to be integrated into a single unit, or that they only need simple functions. All-in-one production center, MFR-3100EX was developed in response to these requests. The MFR-3100EX combines a routing switcher with video switcher, recording, playing, streaming, multiviewer, multiplexer, demultiplexer, AVDL and many other functions. Here are some examples of how the system can actually be used to your advantage. First of all, here is an image of a live broadcast or temporary event. There are a lot of equipment and people seem to have a hard time carrying it. Next to them is a person racking their brains over the wiring and setup. It should be hard to bring in the equipment and complete the wiring and setting up within a limited time. By using the MFR-3100EX, you can reduce the number of devices, increase portability, save on wiring and adjustments, and reduce setup time. Of course, less equipment means fewer equipment problems. Now for another application. This is an example of a studio system. If a switcher fails, the system switches from the normal system to the emergency system, and the cut switching using the matrix can be used to continue operation. This is how the MFR-3100EX system is constructed. The system has been simplified by combining the equipment into one unit. If the main switcher fails, the video switcher inside the MFR-3100EX can be operated as an emergency switcher. Mix and wipe transitions would also be possible on the emergency switcher in that case. Now for the next application. In a streaming system, the MFR-3100EX supports RTMP, RTMPS and SRT connections, so video and audio can be uploaded directly to a live streaming service. Of course, as in the studio example, the equipment can be combined into a single unit. In addition, the system supports NDI as well as SDI, so it can be used for a wider range of applications. Furthermore, for large streaming events, where it is necessary to distribute the video to multiple event-related companies, the built-in SDI matrix of up to 64 by 72 size makes it possible to distribute the video. Let's now move on to the functions. First is the routing switcher function. The maximum number of inputs and outputs is 64 by 72. The video format is 3G, HD, SD, SDI, and the audio supports AES, MADI, embedded audio and analog audio. The system can be freely implemented and configured with input and output cards. Up to 8 input cards and up to 9 output cards can be mounted. Now take a look at the I/O cards that can be mounted. In addition to regular input-output boards such as SDI and AES, the lineup also includes SDI boards with frame synchronizer and AVDL functions. The MFR-8 SDI-FS SDI board with frame synchronizer newly makes it possible to freeze any part of the input video and use it like a still image. Boards with AD and DA functions for audio also support analog audio input and output. Boards that support multiplexer and demultiplexer for audio can also improve the affinity between video and audio. In addition to delay, remapping, mux and demux functions for input audio signals, the board newly supports gain and level controls. Another board, the MFR-16MV, is also available with multiviewer output. By adding this card, a multiviewer function can be added with up to 16 split screens on 2 systems. It can display up to 16 split screens and 2 different clocks. Apart from the MFR-16MV, there is also a WebMV function. It is web-based, so you can easily check the source from PC via LAN using a web browser. Here is the lineup of hardware remote controls for the router function. You can select the remote controller, best suited to your needs. The MFR-3100EX is configured via a web browser. We will now explain with a demonstration of the GUI. Let us now explain the GUI operation of the MFR-3100EX. First, sign in to the GUI. After signing in, a screen like this will open. Open Status Settings on the left. Here on the left of the screen is the menu. This is the crosspoint settings screen. The vertical direction is destination, output, and the horizontal direction is source, input. Crosspoint switching can be done directly with one touch, or it can be set in advance with preset and switched by take. Crosspoints can also be locked. The red area is locked and cannot be switched. Destination and source can be color-coded by category. In this case, for ease of understanding, we have set them to be color-coded by card. For example, it is possible to hide each category from the source category. Destination can be set in the same way. When multi-step is selected, a screen like this is displayed. Destination and source are displayed side by side. If you want to switch source, you can select it from the list on the right. This is followed by the multi-viewer. In the current system, MFR-16MV is implemented in slots 15 and 16. The multi-viewer can display up to 2 systems and 16 windows. Layouts can be recalled and saved here. Saved layouts can be recalled and reflected in the router by pressing Send. In addition, windows, titles, audio level meters, tally, time codes, alarms, clocks and auto sequences can be set. Double-click on the window to display the settings. The title and audio level meter can be switched on and off, and the window size and position can be changed. In addition, windows cannot be placed on top of each other and are thus displayed with an orange warning. The multi-viewer can also be displayed on the web GUI. In this way, all inputs can be viewed. Again, layouts can be recalled and saved, each window can be switched on and off, and its position and size can be changed. Under Audio Settings, the mounted audio cards are displayed. Open MFR-31VP from this list. Within MFR-31VP, you can set input type, sampling rate converter, gain, delay, audio mapping, V-fade mute, output type, and AVDL. We will now open the audio mapping. Horizontal is input and vertical is output. It is currently set up this way. Next is the MFR-31VP settings screen. In addition to being able to switch between buttons by operating from the image of the remote control on the screen, the page ID, function and LCD display colors can be set. Source assignments can also be selected from a pull-down menu. We will now try switching by remote control. You can switch with the buttons like this. Switch pages and try switching in the same way. It is possible to control the button so that it does not switch when lock is pressed. Next, we will explain a major feature of the MFR-3100EX, which is the MFR-31VP option. By implementing the MFR-31VP on the MFR-3100EX, video switcher, storage, streaming and NDI functions can be added. This frame represents the MFR-3100EX. It has routing switcher functions as shown. The MFR-31VP can then be added. Video switcher functions, encoder, decoder, recording using SSD, video playback, NDI input, output and streaming functions can be added to the MFR-31VP. The signal flow is like this. The router passes 16 video channels to the video switcher, while 10 channels can be passed from the video switcher to the router. Up to 4 channels can be passed to the encoder and decoder respectively. Here are the main specifications of the video switcher. It has transition, keyer, chroma key, macro, event and MV functions. Note, however, that there is no DVE function. And now, a new macro function has been added that can be registered by software and used as a simultaneous record button, or playback button. It is also possible to perform operations from the hardware. By recording multiple operations as macros and registering them as presets, complex operations can be recalled and performed with a single keystroke. An optional board, MFR-31DNT, which supports Dante input-output, is planned for release. In addition to the dedicated panels MFR-31OU and MFR-31T-bar, HVS-100OU, HVS-190OU, and MFR-16RUT, a remote controller for routers can be used as hardware control panels. The video switcher function can also be controlled via a software option called MFR-CTSP. This is explained in the demonstration using GUI. Start MFR-CTSP. The bus buttons can be scrolled horizontally. Various switcher settings such as auxiliary and picture-in-picture can be made. It is also possible to switch between cut, auto, and wipe. In the multi-viewer, you can call up registered layouts and make settings such as window on, off, size and title. In camera, you can control PTZ cameras connected via NDI. Pan, tilt, zoom and presets can be recalled. Then we will operate from the hardware panel. As shown here, the bus buttons can be switched, and DSK, cut, and auto can be operated. As with the software, the PTZ camera can also be controlled. Then we will introduce the macro feature that has been newly added. First, record a macro from Store tab. Press Rec Start to return to the home screen. This time we will set PNP 2, 3, and auto transition. When the operation is finished, return to the macro screen and stop rec. Select the number you want to record the macro to, and press Store to register it. We will also rename it for clarity. Go to recall the registered macro. Now let's restore the switcher settings and see if the macro runs correctly. As you can see, the macro was executed correctly. Next, we will try to recall the macro from the hardware panel using the user button. This is the web GUI for the MFR-3100U. It has settings such as bus button, user button, panel, and camera control. Open the function pull-down menu to see the items to be assigned. Select Recall Macro and select any macro from parameter. In color, you can select the color to be lit by the buttons on the panel. Now let's see if the macro is executed by operating it from the panel. As you can see, the macro was assigned and executed correctly. The storage and streaming functions of the MFR-31VP are described next. A 960 GB capacity SSD is built in for recording and video playback. This is equivalent to approximately 120 hours at 1080-60p. The streaming function supports live video recording and streaming using RTMP, RTMPS and SRT connections. A new feature is the ability to record VITC information embedded on the SDI input signal during recording. In addition, SRT now supports both send and receive. The MFR-31VPS software option can be added to the MFR-31VP to support NDI. Sending and receiving of video and audio, and PTZ control of the camera are available. In addition, NDI high bandwidth, which was previously only available for receiving, is now also supported for sending. The MFR-31VP is configured via a web browser. Let's move on to the GUI screen. This is the web GUI for the MFR-31VP. The encoder and decoder are shown in Utilities 1 through 4. As shown in the figure, the switcher's output is input to the encoder and the decoder's output is input to the switcher. The switcher sets the output to the encoder. In NDI mode, NDI and NDI high bandwidth can be selected. In encoder, settings such as NDI output, streaming, and recording to the built-in SSD are configured. In decoder, settings are made for NDI, SRT input, and files stored on the built-in SSD. Next are the recording and playback operation screens. In the play file screen, select the clip to be played back and press play. Press take to send the file to the program. In rec file, you can record the video currently being sent to the program. The recorded file can be selected from this list and sent out. Finally, we will explain the robustness and linkage of the MFR-3100EX. The MFR-3100EX can be equipped with additional power and control cards to support stable system operation. Monitoring via SNMP is also supported. The MFR-3100EX supports TSL. Tally linking via GPI is possible by using the MFR GPI. In addition, the MFR-TALM can be used to link not only tally but also names to create an even more flexible system. The MFR-3100EX has many functions. It can be used in a variety of situations, including studios, temporary events, and live streaming depending on your ideas. This is the flypack system we use in our regular demonstrations. In this way, the system can be made more compact. MFR can also offer this type of rack system itself. Thank you for your attention.